Do you know what your financial set point is? We've all heard of our weight set point in the realm of weight loss, but what about your financial set point and how does that determine your future? Well, that's what I want to talk about in today's video. All right, guys, what's up? Uriel Kame here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals get clients and scale their businesses online. And we've all heard of, the weight set points that most of us have, right? So if let's say your weight set point is 150 pounds and you get to 250, it throttles on like the air conditioning in your house to cool things down to 150. But when you get to 150, you kind of coast again and then it goes back up, et cetera, back and forth. What I've realized is we all have a financial set point as well. I do. I've run into situations in my life where I've coasted because things were comfortable, right? Got the house over my head, food on the table, and it's like I could easily take the foot off the gas pedal. And what's interesting is that everyone has a different financial set point. And it's not that one is better than the other, but I want to challenge you today. This video is going to challenge you more than anything else. And I want you to really do some soul searching as you watch this and reflect on it afterwards. So one of our team members was telling me about, she has a bird and this bird is in a cage. And when she opens the door to the cage, the bird doesn't want to fly. And I thought that was a really powerful example of how so many of us live our lives. Is we live in this cage and we say, well, here's what I believe I deserve in life. And then there's this whole amazing universe of opportunity outside of us. And a lot of us don't pursue it or don't even believe that we can pursue it. Therefore, we don't even set the intention, either because we don't believe we're good enough or whatever reason. And therefore what happens is, although the door to the cage opens, we literally stand there on the ledge and we look out and we say to ourselves, that's scary. I couldn't do that. So let me just turn around and stay in my cage. I want you to think of how this shows up in your life, because it shows up in every single one of our lives. It shows up in my life. It shows up in the most successful people financially's lives as well. The difference, though, is that some people's cages are bigger than others. And I want to talk specifically about the finances of your health business, because I see this a lot. And it's one of the things that I want to be very clear about when I talk about money and your health business. I want you to really remember this, okay? It's never about the money. Okay, the money is simply the scorecard or the scoreboard of your impact in the world. So we all know, for the most part, most health, wellness, and fitness professionals want to transform lives. They want to impact more people. And that's great, right? That's one of the reasons I serve this audience. I love it. I'm a health professional first and foremost myself. But what's interesting is that when people say, well, it's not all about the money, I'm like, I never said it was all about the money, but why are you even saying that? Because if you have an issue with money, you're never going to impact people. Because how are you supposed to make money if no one's paying you money to transform your life? So let me give you a very specific example of how this shows up. We only work with those who want to add at least $25,000 per month to their business. Online business specifically. Brick and mortar, we don't do that stuff. You don't need more of a prison. So why would we only work with those who want to add $25,000 a month to their business? Here's why. Because if you have a very small cage and we're showing you this amazing opportunity in front of you, you're going to be too afraid to step out the cage. It's that simple. If I would say the most common objective when we ask someone, where do you want to be with this business in a year from now? The most common answer is $5,000 a month. And when I hear that, I know that this is not going anywhere. Because why would you say $5,000 a month? Why not $50,000? Well, there's two things here. Number one is the belief around what's possible. I don't believe that I can make more than $5,000 a month based on previous experience, or I don't believe I can make more than that because I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy of it. Or maybe I don't want to have more headaches in my business. I don't want to have, more money, more taxes, more clients to deal with, etc. There's a number of reasons why this can happen. I want to break these down for a second. I used to have the belief when I started my first business in 2005, for 3 years, I made less than poverty line income because I had those beliefs. I didn't want to pay more taxes, and I thought my life would become more complicated if I made more money. So I played small, and it didn't work out for me because I struggled massively. I remember this, like literally at one point I had a plastic cup on my kitchen table, and the money that I could fit into that cup was what I lived on. So talk about playing small, okay? I had to do the work to get over this stuff. And so when I hear this stuff, I empathize with it because I've been there, trust me. But the reality is what I've come to realize is I want to pay the government as much tax as I possibly can. Now I say that I fucking hate our government, and I'll just be very clear about that. And I can't stand paying taxes to people who waste money incessantly, but that's the reality of living on earth. You got to pay tax somewhere, right? So it is what it is. I'm not going to tax evade and all that kind of nonsense. With that said, I'm just going to make more money because if I want to achieve certain outcomes, then whatever, I just have to pay more in tax. It is what it is. The second thing about complications in business, here's one thing. A lot of health professionals, the number one issue is burnout. And burnout happens because of a lot of the one-on-one work. So if someone says to us, okay, well, I only want to make $5,000, I'll ask them, why so little? Well, because like if I can only handle a couple of clients, I'm like, yeah, like you can only handle a couple of clients doing one-on-one. But what if you could do 1 to 10? And they'd say, well, then I want to make sure my clients get good results. I don't think my clients would get better results in a leverage group format. Really? Why is that? Well, I've never done it, right? That's the first thing. So I don't know what I don't know. And the idea here is to understand, well, if you could work with 10 clients at the same time and spend 1 hour a week with them and they get better results than if you worked one-on-one with them, would you be open to that? And the answer hopefully should be yes. So, okay. So if it's a delivery thing, we can figure that out. That's what we do every single day with our clients. If you can't handle more clients, you have to fix that bottleneck because you'll never be able to make more money and impact more people if you can't take on more than 2 clients or whatever the number is. And that's a delivery issue that we solve for our clients so they can work with 100 clients at the same time if they want to, without spending 100 hours a week. So understand that do not set your limitations financially based on what you don't know. I don't know how to deliver amazing results to my clients at scale. Therefore, I'm going to limit what I feel I deserve. Don't do that. It doesn't help you and it's selfish. It doesn't serve a lot of people. Figure out how you can do it. And actually better than that, don't even figure it out. Just go to someone who's already figured it out and help that and have them help you. Okay, this is really simple. The second thing is I want you to think about when we say $5,000 a month, that's $60,000 a year. Now, this is business income. This is not money you're taking out of your business and paying your mortgage with or putting food on the table with. This is your revenue from your business. Now, when you're first starting off, you might be who knows, maybe you're at 75%. Let's just keep it simple. Let's say that on $5,000 business revenue, you take out of the company $3,000 a month as salary or whatever. What are you doing with $3,000 a month? I don't know about you, but I mean, like, unless you're living in a tent in the middle of the desert, you probably have some expenses. And God forbid, what would happen if you had a family member that needed some type of medical attention, or you had to put one of your parents in a home or whatever? A lot of these unseen, or we don't think about these things that could happen. Your kids need braces, 10 grand. Where's that coming from? You want to save up to put your kids in school? You have a college fund? Where's that money coming from? You're not getting anywhere with $5,000 a month. And you might say, Yuri, Don't tell me how much money I should make. I'm not telling you how much money you should make. What you want to make is your choice. What I am doing here is I'm laying out the reality of living in the world. Are things getting more expensive or less expensive? More expensive. Has gas gone up significantly? Yes. Are we going to complain about it? Some people do, and they don't think that they can change their circumstance because they're a victim to reality of life. And those people have no chance in life because they will always be at the mercy of external circumstances. Winners, like you and I, always find a way to win. I don't care who's in charge of our government. I don't care if there's inflation and interest rates are going through the roof and the economy might go into recession. Do you think that I have the belief that our business is going to be affected by that negatively? Never. It never has been. It never will. You create your own economy regardless of what's happening in the economy. And if you don't believe that to be true for you, you should work for someone else. I'm dead serious about this, okay? Because you cannot build a thriving business on $5,000 a month. It's a good place to start, but do not limit your vision there. So understanding that this world has real costs, and that if you're making $5,000 a month, you're not paying yourself $5,000 a month. The third thing is, why not add a zero to that? Let's talk about the belief here. And maybe there's a money block, like, oh, I don't want to be wealth. It's not about the money. I'm not saying it's all about the money. Hopefully the first two arguments I just made are starting to make sense. Let's look at the impact you want to make in the world. $50,000 a month business, $5,000 a month business. Which one do you think is making more of an impact in the world? It's dead simple. You don't have to think about this. If you're making $5,000 a month, you're spitting into the ocean. The person who's doing $50,000 a month is splashing in the ocean. The person who's doing $1 million a month is creating some waves. And it's not that one or the other is better or they're a better person. But if we are here to impact people's lives, why are we playing small? Why limit yourself to $5,000 a month? Because listen, the amount of work and effort and energy that goes into building a $50,000 a month business or a $500,000 a month business is identical to $5,000 a month. I've done everything. I've done the whole spectrum, okay? And I'll tell you this, it sucks and it's a lot more energy and effort to struggle at, revenue heals all wounds. Revenue heals all wounds. And I know that sounds like a blanket statement. The reality though is that if you have trouble in life, in your business, if you have more revenue, you have fewer problems because you can hire people, you can write a check, you can do all sorts of stuff that cash flow allows you to do that you can't do when you don't have the revenue. So it's not about being like all about the money. I want you to be as wealthy as you can possibly tolerate. Because we just had our From the Flight Deck call, which is a call I host every Monday, Wednesday, Friday with our clients. And the first thing I asked is like, hey, share a win in the chat from one of your clients. Like, how have you helped one of your clients this week? And I'm reading this list and I'm like, this is amazing. A1C level down to normal levels in 7 days, got someone's periods back on track, weight loss, increased energy, all like, it's just nonstop. And I'm like, guys, like, please, this is the work you're doing. And for you not to reach more people is a disservice to them. It's a disservice to the magic you have. So when someone says, like in a year from now, I'd like to be at 5K, is it because you have an issue with money? If so, you got to work on that, okay? Because it's not about you. We are not here. It's not about us. I want to build a friggin' mega business. It's not about me. I want to build a business that stands the test of time so that when I'm no longer here, it's still helping people. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with the money. It has everything to do with the challenge of growth, of becoming better. Because here's the other thing too, is that you fundamentally have to become a better version of yourself if you want more money in your business. Because you're going to have to go through challenges that you're not going to have to go through at $5,000. But then you're like, hold on, you just said a couple minutes ago, it's the same amount of energy and effort to do 5,000 as it is to do 500,000 a month. It's the same amount of time. It's the same amount of energy, but different levels, different devils. If you're at 5K a month, you're worried about what page to put a pixel on. That's a $10 problem. If you're at $500,000 a month, you're looking to build a leadership team. It's a very different problem, but you are forced to grow to get there. And so for me, it's not about the money. Like I value growth more than anything, which is probably why I have 4 kids. I'd like the challenge. When is enough enough? It's never enough. It's never enough. And be okay with that. You get to $1 million a month. What's next? Oh, I think I'm going to stay here. No, you're not. You're either growing or you're dying. And if you have the choice of growth, why would you not grow? I've got enough money. It's not about the money. What's the next level you can grow into to help more people, to become a better version of yourself, whatever it is? It's not about the fucking money. But you can't discount the importance of money in life. And at $5,000 a month in business revenue, you're not going to do much. Small vision, small action, small outcomes. And those who have a small vision are less willing to bet on themselves. You're more likely to make a choice that's going to be, I'm going to buy this $200 course because you've got a small vision, as opposed to, I'll just be very honest with you. Again, I'm not a special snowflake, guys, but the only thing that I have going for me is I'm very ambitious. And because of that, since 2005 to 2009, I invested nothing in myself for my business. I thought I was smart enough. I thought I could figure things out on my own, and I didn't. And I struggled because of that. From 2010 to the current day, I've spent more than $1.1 million in coaching, masterminds, and mentorship. And that's been reflected in our business, in the ability to help more people. If I had invested $100, there's no way I would have any authority or wisdom experience to help anyone. So like if someone's like, yeah, like I invested in a course last year, I'm like, how much was it? Oh, it was like a free course on YouTube. I'm like, you're playing in the friggin' minor leagues here. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't say you want to build a great business, because a great business is not $5,000 a month. Okay. You should at the very minimum be making that on a monthly basis, take home minimum. Obviously we want you to make a lot more. So I want to challenge you here, because again, my premise at the start of this was, I want this video to really challenge you, because you have limitations. I have limitations. We all have limitations. And if we do not acknowledge those limitations, we will never be able to break free of the birdcage we're in and fly to our true potential. And I don't think there's anything more devastating in life than living as a fraction of who you could truly be. So why don't we do that? Here's the 4-letter F word that holds us back. It's fear. Well, I don't go into debt. Why? Why would you not go into debt to invest in yourself, to build the skills and capabilities so that you're never struggling ever again financially? Why would you not do that? Well, because you don't believe in yourself and you're scared shitless, which means you have not grown to the level you need to grow to get to where you say you want to go. But hold on, you're saying you only want to make $5,000 a month. Let's play it safe. Let's play it small so that we don't have to do stuff like that. Because what if it doesn't work out? What if I invest in myself and it doesn't work out? How is that possible? How do you lose if you invest in yourself? Well, let's say you invested to grow your business, whatever it is, a couple grand, tens of thousands of dollars, whatever it is. What's the worst case scenario? You don't make your money back? Who cares? You should be developing skills and growth to prepare you for the next thing. A couple of years ago, I spent $65,000 on a mastermind that had one meeting, and it was literally just in its infancy. And I would say probably was not the best investment from if I were to look at it from that perspective. And I cried the blues for a moment, and I was kind of irritated for a moment. And then I said, hey, Yuri, shut the F up and understand that value is an extraction game. So how can you make the most of this? How can you show up and find the value here? Make the most of it. Don't use this as like all coaching programs and masterminds are a scam, because they're not. They're not. How do I make the most of this situation? Will I do this again? Maybe not, but what can I learn here? How do I grow? If it's a must, you will find a way. And when you have a very small vision, there's not a lot of tension. When you have a small intention, there's not a lot of tension. So one of the most important things I constantly challenge my clients with is set a bigger bar. But I don't want the pressure. Well, pressure creates diamonds. If you don't want the pressure, please go work for someone else. Because being an entrepreneur is 24/7 pressure. It's the responsibility. It's the weight on your shoulders. If you can't handle that, you should not be in business for yourself. And I'm being very honest with you. I fucking love the pressure. I love it. I love it when, it's the last second of the game and I have the ball. Not everyone thrives under those conditions. And I'm not saying every business has to be like that. But if you're looking for the easy path, building your own business is not the way to go. Building a great business is for those who value growth. It's for those who understand that anything great doesn't come easy. And I'm not saying you shouldn't set intentions for ease and flow, because you should. But don't get upset when things are hard. Don't get upset when you hit your head against the wall and you're like, don't get upset when things don't work out the way you want them to, because the vast majority of the time, they're not going to. But what are you going to do about it? So when I say set a bigger vision, and we'll just use finances as an example here, when you have a small intention, there's a very little amount of firepower within you to surmount those challenges. I only want to make 5K a month. It's not that big of a deal if this doesn't work out. I'll just do something else. Whereas if someone's like, I'm going to build $1 million business, and here's why it's important to me to do this, I'll find a way no matter what. And I'll share the example of one of our clients, Kevin, who started with us a few years ago, beginning of 2020. And I told him, I'm like, hey man, I think you're too early. And he said, no. He was making $800 a month. He said, no, watch me. And he's a health coach, okay? And 18 months later, he's doing more than $1 million in his business. What's the difference? The difference is that he had a very big vision. The difference was that he knew he could do it. The difference was that he had a compelling reason why. And you can't do big things in this world with small vision. So I hope this video, watch this as many times as you have to be honest, because vision is everything. I don't care where you are, but I do care about where you want to go. Because if where you are is not where you want to be, I was there too. I was in a really shitty place for 4 years. And eventually I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. But I had a very big vision for where I wanted to go. When I was 10 years old, I said, I will become a professional soccer player. Not, I'm going to go play pickup down the street. And because of that, I dedicated the next 14 years to making that happen. Every single day, I put in the training, the discipline, the dedication, the sacrifice, everything. Was it worth it? 100 million, billion, trillion %. Did I give up a few things along the way? 1,000,000 times. Was it worth it? Yes. Would I have done that stuff if I just wanted to go play pickup down the road? No. I'm not saying you have to set goals to, become the next Elon Musk or whatever it is. But I am saying, whatever you are setting, challenge yourself to go a few times bigger. Challenge yourself. Add whatever you're thinking, multiply it by 10. Because when you multiply it by 10, all of a sudden the level of energy that it either scares the shit out of you and you're like, I don't want to do this. That's fine. Or it excites you. And if it excites you, that's awesome. And if it excites you and scares you and you know it's a hell yes, you have to do it. You have to do it. Not for me, not for anyone else, for your friggin' soul. Because if you don't do it, you're gonna eat yourself up inside. You're gonna live a life of mediocrity. And that is the biggest disease right now. That is the biggest pandemic on the planet, is mediocrity. Is knowing you could do something bigger and better, but you're afraid not to do so. And so you stay small, you stay in your cage where it's safe. But safe is not what the soul wants. You are here as a spiritual being to grow. And if you do not challenge yourself with growth, you will live a life of misery that will be masked with other stuff to numb the pain. Why do you think there's so much friggin' mental health, like so many mental health problems, alcoholism, people watching Netflix like more than ever before, people drowning themselves in cannabis? It's because most people are friggin' miserable because they do not live to their full potential. They've set small goals, or if at all, they don't think they're worth more for whatever reason. And if there was ever a need to have coaching, it's because of this. I love coaching because I think a great coach can see more in you than maybe you can in yourself, who can challenge you to be fully expressed, to get out of your comfort zone, to not buy your stories. I'm not going to buy anyone's story. I don't care if the economy goes to shit. That's not good enough. Sorry, you're not using that story on me. That's an excuse. Because if I recall, some of the biggest fortunes were made in the worst economic times. Think of the Great Depression. Same economy, different people. It's always a choice, guys. You can buy the story that supports your playing smallness, or you can choose to write another one. And every single moment you have that choice. And every single day you deliberate is one extra day of suffering that is unnecessary. I don't mind if you suffer. Again, suffering, I shouldn't say that. It's probably not the best word, but let's just call it that. I don't mind if you suffer in the direction of your goal. What bothers me and what should bother you is suffering not in the direction of your goal. Is suffering in the deliberation, in the procrastination, in not doing what you know you should be doing, but you're scared out of your pants to do. You don't need a bucket of cash, guys. You don't need a briefcase of cash. You don't need to have all your ducks in a row. All you need is courage. That's it. Is everything going to work out? It always does. Always. Everything is always working out for you, but maybe not in the way you thought it would. Are you going to hit a home run out of the park first time at bat? No, maybe not. Maybe you will. But you will never lose by thinking bigger. You will never lose by investing in yourself. You will never lose by becoming a better version of yourself so you can serve more people, including yourself and those you love. All right? So anyways, that's all for today. I hope this makes sense. I'd love to know your comments in the I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video has been impactful for you in any way, shape, or form, share it with someone. Share it with someone who needs to see this. All right, guys, have an amazing day.